Welcome to episode 7 with Flip Lips, Brandy and
Deshana.
So today is a little bit different in my friend voice. We are finally interviewing the great co-host that I have, Mrs. Deshana M. Leo. And I'm excited, y'all. We're not going to jump right into it.
Everything we talk about in this podcast is not real. It's all made up.
Listen, what did she say on my very first podcast? You better tell the truth. You better tell them. So guess what? It's your turn. You have the hot seat.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
She said, let's get into it. That is her most famous phrase of the week. The podcast monthly. So, Deshana, my very best friend, it is your turn. You have the floor. I have a few questions for you. And I'm telling y'all, I will not cut any corners. So when y'all see her pause, don't give her time to think. Go start YouTubing and typing in comments. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the bing first. Press subscribe. And make sure you leave a comment. We're going to have an enjoyable moment. So, how are you?
I'm doing well.
How was your drive from Austin?
It was great. I didn't forget my suitcase this time.
She didn't, y'all. She said, that's friend, guess what? I said, what? She said, I didn't leave my suitcase. I was like, yes.
But I left my coat in this freezer.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
That's okay.
Got something to keep you warm.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell us a little bit about Deshana. Who is Deshana?
Girl, well, you know, my friend don't like when I say this, but I'm very boring. I like to be inside, watching documentaries, minding my business, taking naps, eating snacks, stuff like that. That's what I like to do.
But on the other side, yeah, she's gonna try this, but we won't do it. I'm going to definitely air her out. I want to know what in your life. We jumping straight into it, y'all. What in your life relationship? Because see, I gotta be specific with her because she's going to give me a hard time. What in your relationship life changed you? What was it like? We're gonna go previous because see, I know who you are. So let's get into that because we really want to touch on it. The people want to know.
So I'm gonna say this. So my first real relationship was in high school throughout the beginning of my adult life. So I mean, it was a pretty good relationship for the most part. We kind of grew up together, learned a lot together, took care of each other, like that type of thing. But once we introduced a child into the equation, the dynamic changed. I feel like the dynamic changed when the child came and less attention was brought to him, when he was used to being nurtured and stuff by me and us being a team. It kind of took that away from him. So it kind of like interrupted our relationship. So at that time, I was very like no nonsense to the point like this is what it's gonna be, and I kind of gave him a timeline to like get his shit together, and when he didn't do it, I left. Mm-hmm. So after that, I felt like I made the right decision, but sometimes throughout life, I was kind of like always like, damn, maybe I should have fought for it, or you know, like stayed a little longer, been a little more patient. Like I kind of battled with that. So in my next situation, I kind of let my guards down.
And what do you mean by
and
your
I'll
guards?
never do it again.
So what was your guards being then?
So it just was like trying not to like overreact to things or like be worried about certain things, not to put so much specifics on things, just kind of like let things flow and go with the flow. And I just feel like a lack of boundaries, which I'm very adamant about today, a lack of boundaries just creates a lot of disrespect, a lot of just inconsideration. Like people say all the time, oh, a man only do what you let him do. We're all human beings. You can let me do anything to you, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna do it. It goes about my character. Right. And just because you let a person do something, you shouldn't want to do that. If you let me take all your belongings, just because you let me do it, I shouldn't want to do that because of who I am. So it actually goes back to the person's character. Like they just be not good people, pretty much. So
I got a question. What do you describe not good people? What is the
just people who are just inconsiderate of other people's feelings, selfish, like don't have any accountability, like always blaming somebody else when something goes wrong, like just blatantly doing things to hurt people for no reason. Like those are not good people.
Okay. So, let's keep going. You're doing good. So what in that relationship that you're speaking of, what derived from that? Did you have kids?
Yeah, like 5 years later, we had a child. So, now granted, we dealt for a long time, probably like 11 years or 10. I would say 10 years.
When you say dealt, is that a relationship or you just...
No, like we just kind of like messed around for 10 years. Like, that's what it was. Like, we never was like... I always lived away. So it's not realistic to be in no committed relationship with somebody and you 8 hours away or 6 hours away. Like, that's not realistic in my mind. Okay. So it kind of worked with me. Like, I don't like to be bothered all day. Like, the relationship could have actually worked if it was with the right person. But it was with the wrong person. So it was so much things going on behind the scenes that I'm oblivious to, because number one, I'm not in the streets. Right. I don't just friendly vibe with everybody. Like, I'm not in all of these circles and conversations and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff I just honestly missed. Yes. And I don't go looking for anything. I'm not gonna search through your phone. I'm not gonna be on your Instagram looking for anything. Like, I'm not that girl. I just feel like if something is gonna come to me, it's gonna come to me.
So when the things did come to you, how did you feel? Or what changes did that allow you to make?
It came in all different ways. So I was in different spaces every time. Like, if we were in the middle of like being totally connected and spending a lot of time together, of course, like, that's very hurtful, because it's like somebody living a double life behind your back. Like, all these things you doing, like, we going to church and we doing all this stuff, and like, you helping me take care of my daughter and all this, and then like you literally have a whole nother family in another city and living with this person, and it just blows my mind every time. And then sometimes I would hear about things and we would not be dealing at all. And granted, throughout those 10 years, like, I've dated other people, like, I've explored my options to certain extents, but because of the feelings that I had for this person, it's certain lines that I wouldn't cross with other people. Like, I go on a date and entertain conversations because I'm a woman and I get lonely. Absolutely. And you want attention from a man from time to time. So I did do that, but it's certain boundaries that I never crossed out of respect for the love we supposedly had for each other.
Things, were you doing that because you were lacking something, or was just because?
No, because honestly, like, I turned down a lot of dates. Like, I'm just not that girl. But no, like, people that I dated, like, I actually dated them, and like, we had a good time and I enjoyed them. They were actually really good guys. But when your heart is attached to somebody, even if it's the wrong person, you can't really give your all to another person, even if they are a better fit. It's just, I don't know, stupidity.
So
whatever.
What was the breaking point in your relationship?
It was a build up. Like, it was a slow build up, and it was just constant disrespect, constant back and forth. Like, it was like dealing with two people. And I used to say this all the time. Like, I love this person, I hate this person. Like, it's two people inside of one person, and that's the real thing when it comes to that person. Like, he's really two different people. And it's like, I can say all the horrible things that he did, but I'm just this person. I can't forget the good things that you have done for me. And it was a lot of things that he did for me that meant a lot to me. It was a lot of times where I was sick, he would bring me medicine and all this stuff, not because he was trying to manipulate the situation. It's just because a side of him is very caring and nurturing. And he would do that. He took me to get my surgery, like, not nobody surgery. Let's be clear.
Please.
Medical surgery. Like, he really took care of me when all the storms came and all that. He made sure me and my house had everything that we needed, like, every single time, like, without asking. Right. So it was a part of him that was a good man. just not a good spouse, like at all. Like maybe later on in life through lessons it'll come, but it's just not there. But I mean, it was a lot of.
So do you feel like those things got in the way of you making decisions when you really needed to remove yourself from the situation? Is that the reason why you stayed longer? Or
I mean, that situation never affected my well-being as far as my housing or nothing like that, but it did affect my emotions. Like, it did harden my heart. I'm not gonna lie. It did make me even more guarded than I was in my first relationship, because I just felt like I was taking a different approach and it kind of slapped me in my face. So, I mean, it's just a lesson learned. Like, I know that, no, I don't want to have my guards down that much when dealing with somebody, especially when we're not on the same page. And you can think that you're on the same page with somebody when you're having a conversation with them, and then they go off and become a totally different person, and it's like, wow. But back to your other question, the breaking point was when I got pregnant. Now, mind you, I've been dealing with this person for like 5 years. Like, at the time that I got pregnant, I was living in Houston, and he would come to Houston all the time. Like, and we would go to church together, and we would just, date and just do everything. Like, he would stay at my house, he would bring his kids, they would be there for a week at a time, I would cook for them, like, all this stuff. And it's like, I got pregnant, I moved back here, and he literally became a monster. Like, somebody that I had never met before. And that's when, of course, all kind of stories come out. Like, everybody want to send stuff to your phone all of a sudden. It's like, it was just like a snowball effect of very hurtful shit. And I don't want to cry.
oh,
But it's very hurtful to me for somebody to do things to you at your most vulnerable points in your life. And I'm very big on not kicking somebody when they're down. What really needs to happen is people need to uplift those people. Stop trying to be nosy. Stop trying to spill tea. Stop trying, because at the end of the day, like, if I wasn't a strong-minded person, like, I probably could have killed myself. Like, that's how hurtful it was. But I just had to keep telling myself, like, this is only for 9 months. After 9 months, like, you can get your shit together and don't worry about it. Now, initially, like, I found out that he was dealing with somebody else, like, in a serious relationship. And I'm like, how? And of course, he was like, oh, that's not my girlfriend and all this and all. And it's just like, it's ridiculous. And I just feel like, as adults, you don't have to have a relationship title to have respect. Like, it's delusional. They have married people who don't respect each other and do all kind of things, and they have a title and paperwork. It's about the bond and the actual two human beings that choose to deal with each other. So I just feel like that's ridiculous. Also, it's just like, it was a lot. So, like, the first 5 months of my pregnancy, like, I didn't talk to him. Like, I literally had to block him, change my locks, like, completely, like, get him out of my life. Like, and I didn't deal with him. And I was like, I'm doing what I want to do with my own fucking body. And you can go and do whatever you want to do. Like, that's on you and God, and y'all will have to deal with that. Because, backtrack, he begged me to have a baby for years. And I didn't. So, for me to actually be pregnant and you treat me like that, like, it's almost unforgivable. But it's just like, once you grow and mature, like, you learn to just forgive a person. So, after like 5 months or whatever, I found out what I was having. It was a girl. I guess he saw it on social media because his mom, his best friend, all of them followed me on social media. So he pops up at my house and, very apologetic beyond words. So it's just something that I had to sit with for a little while. And I'm like, how do I want the rest of my pregnancy to go? Like, do I want to be bickering with this man for the next 5 months? Like, even though it was very peaceful, cutting him off.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided, like, whatever, like, okay, it is what it is, you know. And he did what he needed to do as a father. He still was doing all kind of other things in the streets. I don't reside in the streets, so it doesn't really bother me, but it bothers you. Mm-hmm. Like, and then you are already emotional because you're pregnant, so it's just like a lot of things that was out of my control, and I had to just kind of roll with the punches. Now, after I had my baby, like, it was a different type of dealing. Mm-hmm. Like, I just kind of, like, dealt with him when I felt like it, and, you know, we got along for the most part. Like, literally, we did not have a toxic relationship. Like, we probably had a scuffle or two, like, you know, but over a 10, 11-year span, for the most part, we really did get along. Like, we laughed a lot, we played a lot, like, we spent a lot of time together, like, very intimate time together, long talks, like, totally different person. Mm-hmm. From who people see in the streets, and it just blows my mind every time. And that's why I cannot associate with people who portray an image to me and then go off and do something else. Is triggering.
Yeah.
So after that, like, I mean, let me see, Devin is 6 now. I've been gone from here like 2 years, over 2 years. Is it over 2 years?
It's been about 2 years.
Yeah, I moved to Austin in 2020. So yeah, August will be like 3 years I've been gone, and it has been the most peaceful time of my life. Now, he loves to say, like, I vindictively moved to Austin to get him back for all the things that he did to me and take his daughter away and all that. It's like, it's not realistic.
Do you feel like you ran from your problem?
I don't.
Okay.
I move all the time. I've been moving since a child. It's abnormal to everyone else who has been stationary and stable, but I've never had stability in my life. So my stability and someone else's stability looks totally different. Stable to me is having a peaceful space and a peace of mind, because I have lived here, there, and everywhere. And if the setting is peaceful, I'm stable. But to other people who have never lived like that, it looks like this bitch can't keep still. She always moving. I like to move. I like to be in different cities. I like to meet different people. I keep all of my friends and connections in all those cities I lived in. It's just normal to me. It's almost like kids who are army brats. You know, they move all over with their parents wherever they stationed at. It's just that I wasn't an army brat. I had divorced parents. They always let me make the decision who I wanted to live with. And in between those times, I've lived with other relatives. So I don't really know what the circumstances were behind that. Like, I was really young when I lived with other people. So I don't know why I lived with those people. Like, I never really asked. I don't really know. But I know I've lived with my grandmother and my aunt. I've lived with my godmother and went to school there, like, and then back and forth between my dad and my mama.
So do you think that, like, staying in all those different spots, have that affected some of your decision making throughout life, or do you kind of like suppress those areas, or like how does that work? Like, being that you stood in different places, you're adapting to different places as you go on in life. What does that do for you mentally?
I think that
how you respond.
I think it's actually a positive thing. I think that when you get out of a city like New Orleans, where we're all from, I think that when you see how people live other places, it's totally different from here, in good ways and bad ways. Right. You know, and I just feel like it makes me well versed and well rounded. Like, it's a lot of people who left for Katrina and couldn't live anywhere else. They had to come back here because it's just what they used to. I feel like you can stick me anywhere and I'm gonna be just fine.
So let's go back to that, where we come from, when you said that he tried to make you feel guilty about moving away. How did that affect you, or did you feel guilty about it, or what was your response to it?
So it was 2 instances that made me like feel away. So when we first moved, him and his son came to visit or whatever. he made all these promises when we left or whatever. He was gonna get his shit together and come and get his family and all this shit or whatever. So at this point, it's like, the ball is in your court. Do what you want, but I'm gonna be over here. So they came, they visited, and when they were leaving, it just was so sad. And at that moment, I felt bad. I'm like, damn, like, you know, like, he's so far away, like, it's gonna be a long time before he see a shot. I did feel bad. Why are you crying?
Because you letting it out. And I love it. I can't even cry with you because I'm appreciating this so much.
So
I am.
After that, you know, time went on. He visited a few times. We came down here a few times. Everything was fine. So then I came down here for one of my friend's baby shower. So we stayed at his house or whatever. He bought crawfish. We had a great time. His mom came over there. Like, we had a great time. So I come back. I left my baby here because it was summertime. And when I got back, I ended up having blood clots. So I went to the hospital. Like, I had a pain in my leg or whatever. Of course, I Googled it and it said I had blood clots. So I went to the hospital.
You ain't going to cancer or none of that and all the other symptoms.
Nah. Like, it literally said,
you know you gotta
it's a blood
Google
clot.
now.
Yeah, they said Google King, but Google was right that time. So y'all got to
stay on Google.
Y'all got to use y'all own, you know. So I ended up having 2 blood clots in my lungs. So as I'm sitting in the hospital bed, like, I'm like that shit it could kill you. And I just had to, like, ask myself, like, are you, like, happy in this area, in this area, in this area? And for the most part, like, I was fine. But in that situation, it just was like, we not dealing or nothing at this point. Like, I'm living in Austin, but it still was questionable, maybe. Like, this could be a possibility.
Right.
Maybe. So I just kind of like put that in my own head, but I never said anything to him or anything like that. So when he was bringing my daughter back, like, he just started having like a text war with me. Mind you, like, I'm on blood thinners. Like, I don't know how long I gotta be on this medication. Like, every day, like, I don't know if people ever got diagnosed with something that you feel like could kill you. It gives you anxiety to go to sleep at night. Because you don't know if the blood clot is broken up. You don't know if it's going to go to your brain. Yes. Like, you don't know. It's very scary. So I'm just like, this is not a time to be fussing with me. Like, you know, I was just in the hospital, like, again, kicking people while they down. Right. I hate it. So he went to doing, like, the guilt trip thing. Like, oh, I got to drive all the way out there to bring my baby back. Mind you, I have taken several trips to New Orleans. Never complained. Like, whatever. So I just was like, bitch, I am not fussing with you no more. Like, I don't even want to engage in this conversation. We both know the truth. When I lived here with your daughter for 3 years, you barely got her. Yeah. And that's just the facts. And I never complained and I never cared because I have my own children. I take care of my own children, and I don't really care about a babysitter because I'm always inside. And that's where I like to be. And if I need a babysitter, I know how to get one. If I want to take a trip, I have a mama who, when I lived here, would travel here to watch my kids for me. So don't need you or nobody connected to you to watch my kid. But don't try to use narcissistic behavior because you don't feel like driving or whatever the motive was behind that to try to manipulate me into feeling guilty for having your child so far away when we was 20 minutes away from you. You ain't even get her. Or if you did, it was because you was trying to get with me and that's why you were in our company, or you just felt like having her for the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not realistic. So then that conversation just brought me back through all the years of this consistent behavior that I tolerated for whatever reasons at whatever point in a relationship. And I just was like, I'm tired. And it's literally true. Like, when you only know when you're tired. And it could be anything. Like, some people might watch this and be like, oh, you should have been tired before the baby. Or, oh, you should have been tired when he did that in your pregnancy. Or, you can't say when somebody gonna be tired. But that moment, I was tired. And I literally, that was the end. Like,
so how long was your healing process? And what did that look like?
It wasn't really like a healing process. Like, it was automatic. Like, that particular incident where my life was in jeopardy, and then the same treatment that was so familiar to me but still new, it just made me feel like, you know what, like, this is gonna be a continuing cycle. Like, I could literally be on my deathbed and you still gonna be an asshole to me.
Right.
Like, for no reason. Like, I've literally done you nothing but be supportive of you and patient with you and let you get out whatever you got in your system and didn't care. And like, this how you still continue to want to treat me? Like, no, like, that's enough of that.
So when you decided to, you know, since you said it was like instantly, you were fed up, you were done. Was it at any moment that he tried to come back?
Still moments. Today.
Okay.
Today.
So how do you deal with that? How do you approach? It don't even have to be him, but like, I know that's what it is, but how do you control yourself?
I just feel like, first of all, like, I'm just not into it. Like, you know, if you still have feelings for a person and all that, it's easy to go back and believe what they say, but when the feelings are not there anymore, you just not interested. Like, none of it sounds good. When you interested, it sounds good. Because you want it to be true and you want this to be the time that they really get their shit together and shit work. Because at the end of the day, don't nobody lay down and have a baby with nobody and be like, I want to do this all by myself. Like, no, the goal is to do this together. The goal is to be a team and work together. But it don't work out like that sometimes.
So moving forward.
Forward is the motion.
Forward is the motion. Where is the Shauna right now?
So I'm just in a peaceful place when it comes to my love life. Like,
what do you call it? The say it for one more time.
What I call it?
Your favorite word, the soft life. I'm living my soft life.
I am. And you know I'm living my soft life, friend. You have seen it all.
I have.
And no, it's very enjoyable. Like, I love it. Like, and I love having options and turning them down. Like, I just like it. I know some of my little people who have crushes on me probably watching this like, she ain't lying, because I just don't really like to be bothered, but, you know, sometimes.
So why don't you like to be bothered?
Because.
Are you still attached?
No,
okay.
like.
I just wanted to put that out there.
No, it's not that. Like, period, in general, like, I don't want somebody in my space every day. Like, I just don't. Like, I like to be by myself sometimes and just sit with myself sometimes, looking ugly, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be like that.
Because you can end up like when I decide to go on a date. Because they do lie when they start the dating process, okay?
Oh, God.
So we'll touch on that one good thing, but we're going to keep this about you. So, you know, so yes.
But yeah, like, I'm really living my softest love life ever. Now, some other parts of life still be kicking me down now, but for that part of my life, I'm grateful because I just.
So you learn from
happy. Bitch, you ain't got no choice to learn from that.
I just want to
a blind man, a deaf woman gonna learn from that. Bitch, don't matter. That is a lesson.
But I have a question though before we wrap it up. How does, because I know in early episodes, you know, you spoke of death and autism. How does that affect her, or if it does that anyway? Because you're more knowledgeable than me about that, but I want to know, like, even with a child that has autism and shared parents and y'all are co-parenting, what does that look like for her?
So, Devin is a lot like me. She likes to be inside in her own space. She doesn't really like to be bothered. When she does, she'll come and get you and stuff like that. She's so negative. Like, it's the truth, and it is what it is. And if you don't want a negative picture painted about you, then just be a better person. But I can say, as far as co-parenting, like for the most part, when it comes to her care and, you know, it's okay. Right. You know, we get along. Like, we don't bicker and stuff like this. Like, you know, like, that's fine. It's just the relationship aspect, like, that is something that just didn't work. Right. Like, it is what it is. But co-parenting is a possibility. Like, I have gotten to a much better place with both of my kids' father. Like, we have way better communication, and you know, it's light at the end of the tunnel. But of course, nobody expects this to be their outcome. Like, nobody don't want to be going through all this, especially when you are a good woman and, you know, like, you know what you deserve. Like, it's no reason for you to be going through all this turmoil in a relationship. Like, just, y'all need to learn how to treat people. Hey.
So, I want to say that it's my turn to give you your flowers, which I've given to you, given them to you off camera. But you are a phenomenal woman.
Thank you.
No, you really are. You fought hard to get here.
I'm gonna cry again.
It's okay. You fought very hard, and when you come from, a lot of people have friends that they just met, but fortunately enough, we've been friends for a very long time. So I've watched everything, and it's been very rewarding to see there is light at the end of the tunnel. And and I tell you this all the time, through all that you had going on, you made way for so many other people to heal them, to listen to them, to be attentive to them and stuff like that. And it's hard for me to share the tears with you because this is healing for you. This is going to be so much more rewarding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've already been mad behind the scene. You already know I beef with him. That's what's going to happen. I ain't messing with that.
It gonna go away.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, and I have respect for both parties no matter what.
Right.
You know, but I'm going to always choose reality. And what's right. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I really appreciate you for taking this moment to sharing your truth, because your story is powerful. Yet, not only did you share the situation, relationship, but you're able to tap on your children, where you come from, why, you know, living in different households, how that affected you. So, definitely, I want to say thank you more than anything, and I want to hug. I love you.
I love you.
And I'm very proud of you, and I am already looking at where you are in your relationship life, and it's looking up.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It's
cute, pumpkin. So thank y'all for joining in. Please subscribe. Please share. Please like. And most importantly, please comment.
Yeah, let's have a conversation.
Yes. Thank you. So I like to say that you're private.
And you be mad about that sometimes.
I do.
Why?
Because this
I don't have to be an open book like you. I really don't.
That's why I appreciated this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like to say that you're private. I do understand. But I feel like because you're private and you finally let the world know what is inside of you, because people be curious.
Let me say this.
You know, but go ahead.
So we've been friends since we were like 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't find out things that happened to me like in my childhood and certain things that you would have never known, because I'm a private person, and I just feel like.
But when they came out,
important.
It helped me to understand why you responded the way you will respond to something.
Right. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, it just goes to show you, like.
I know, but communication is better sometimes.
For you.
And it's freedom. It is. I love you.